and I am coming to you from Wizard World St. Louis. Alright, the first stop on my Wizard World experience here is the Weta Workshop, where they have all kinds of artifacts here from the filmings of The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. There's statues, a lot of very interesting figures here as well. We'll do a close-up here. And some of the models. Okay, this year's exclusive comic for Wizard World St. Louis is a exclusive cover to Walking Dead #1 with the Wizard World St. Louis logo on the bottom there. So at this point, I think I probably have 20 copies of Walking Dead #1. So I'm not sure how many of you have actually been to one of these conventions and don't know what the basically what it looks like other than on TV. So I am right now in the main vendor hall. This is the majority of the convention, with panel rooms all on the outside and things going around throughout the convention center. So as we kind of turn here, you see the convention floor and how crowded it gets. I'm kind of off on a wall so I can record this and you can actually hear me, because if I tried to do much recording out in the middle, it's just so loud you'd never hear anything I had to say. Which I'm sure some people are thinking that's not such a bad thing. Hey guys, I have made my first purchase, and as I'm sure surprises nobody, it was Legos. So I thought I'd give a quick moment here to go through my first purchase and show you guys what I got. So first, we have a Miss Martian Lego figure, a Vision, Joker, Punisher with a trench coat. Actually hadn't seen one of those before. And the highlight, one that I know that Aaron's going to love, Galactus. So this was my first purchase. I'm sure it won't be my last, and it probably won't even be my last Lego one of the convention. Alright, one more new item. I have a magnet, Peter Parker and Miles Morales Ultimate Spider-Man. So, one more magnet for my magnet collection. So, I thought I'd seen pretty much everything there was to see at a convention before now. But here's something I've never seen before. A booth that is doing tattoos. And I don't mean temporary tattoos. These are the real permanent kind. Seems like a bad idea to make that kind of spur-of-the-moment decision at a convention. Alright, so it wouldn't be right to come to a Wizard World or a Comic-Con and not buy comic books, since that's what it's here for. So I made my first comic book purchase earlier today. I've got Amazing Spider-Man Through the Decades, trade paperback, and Amazing Spider-Man, the complete alien costume saga. Now that the day is starting to wrap up a little bit, it's time to start wandering the floor and see what kind of deals can be had. Because a lot of people don't want to take things home, and it's a good time to get some deals. So one thing I've noticed about Wizard World St. Louis this year, I don't know if there's less people here, maybe because there's nobody from Doctor Who this year, or maybe it's just a case of they put all of the big panels on at the same time. But this year I've actually been able to get into the panels. Last year that wasn't the case. Last year you had to wait about an hour to even hope to get into a panel, and there was no guarantee then. So I finished up the George Romero panel, and I have to say that was a lot of fun. I was able to get fairly near the front and actually hear everything he had to say. He told some stories about how when he made the original Night of the Living Dead, he had no idea he was making a zombie movie. He just wanted basically a something to happen in the world to show that people are stupid and would rather fight with each other than deal with what's going on in the world. So he had the dead start to rise. He didn't think they were zombies because to him zombies were those voodoo things. By the second movie he'd already accepted it and it became a zombie movie. Somebody asked him specifically if there was anything he would change in his movies, and he says he goes back and he looks at the original Night of the Living Dead and all he can see when he watches it is all of his cinematic mistakes. I thought that was kind of interesting. He kept talking over and over about how his zombies are too weak to do things like eat brains because they couldn't bash in skulls. That people ask him about the remakes of the movies, and he said basically that they lost the whole purpose of the movies. That each of the zombie movies that he made was a satire of something. And the Dawn of the Dead was a big satire of commercialism. And the remake completely and totally missed that.
How many takes did it take you to do the pasty trick at the end of Mistress of the Dark? Was it just one take and did perfect for you?
The tassel?
Yes, the tassel.
Believe it or not, when I did that, they didn't want to have it in the movie. We had draft filming, and I had a fight, an argument, begging, pleading to go back in and shoot that scene. And they had run out of money, really. We had gone over budget, and it was a big deal to set up because it's that big giant room and the dancers, and the music, and the choreographer, and it was quite an expensive little thing to do. So the day we finally got, after me crying and laying on the carpet at NBC and not telling them I wouldn't leave in front of the door of the president of NBC and talk to me, finally got it, and the day that we were going to shoot, I got the flu, and I got it so bad. I have, probably when I shot that whole number, I had like a fever of like 104, something.
Oh my God.
I was delirious. And I shot that one take. I shot that whole thing in one take because
That's what my husband said. He's like, it took her one take.
I couldn't do it again. The tassel twirling was the easiest part, believe me, because I've been doing that since I was 14. I always say when other kids were at home practicing piano, I was in front of the mirror practicing twirling tassels.
Thank you so much.
My question is, since you are at Comic-Con, who is your favorite superhero or comic book series?
Oh, superhero, okay. Again, I go with the old school one. When I was a kid, I grew up obsessed, and Stanley hates to hear me say this, I grew up obsessed with Superman. There you go, Superman. Exactly. As a kid, I was very bizarre for a girl, to be reading Superman comics all the time and building Aurora model kits of monsters, That's what I did. The other girls had Barbie and I had Superman comic books and that. So I just grew up with this giant thing of Superman, which I've had moments where I think, maybe that wasn't an accident because I feel a little like Clark Kent Superman character myself now, I don't change in a phone booth, that's the only difference. But I do have this dual personality, and I go, how much influence did those Superman comic books have on me? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. And you fight crime at night.
Oh yeah, I did fight crime.
There's that as well.
I definitely out there was saying that.
Yeah.
I fighting some crime last night. Yeah.
Well,
Well, the panels are over, the hall is closed, and this is the end for Wizard World St. Louis's Comic-Con for 2015. They announced the dates for next year. It is in April, which is a little bit earlier than it was this year. And I want to thank you all for watching. I am heading back to my car now, and just in case anyone was wondering, particularly Aaron and Paul, yeah, my feet are a little bit tired. This has been Wayne with Ideology of Madness from Funny Books with Aaron and Polly. Thank you.